Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024, Season 11 of the Bonsai Zone. And today I'm going to be working on my lemon tree. This tree is my most popular video at 3.4 million views. And today I'm going to be pruning it up. My lemon tree has been chilling in the basement for the winter at around 10 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's dormant for the winter. So it's a good time to give the trees a structural prune, getting them ready for that new spring growth that will come in about 3 months. This lemon tree was grown from a seed long ago. So let's go back in time now and check out the history of the tree. Hi there, Nigel Saunders for KW Bonsai. So this tree, it was started from a seed and I've been clipping growing it. So when I mean grow, I'll show you what I mean. Let's pan up here. Way up to the top of the tree. At the top, no, it's still not at the top, there. Previous years. And then we're going to prune the top off. So I'm just looking for leaf scars. There's one back here, there's one up here. I think we're just going to take it off here. And there goes that. Let's get the tree out. Just take this one off a little more here. There was one growing down. Like so. We'll encourage these roots to grow. Yeah, like so. So that fits in better now. This watering can is a Haas watering can, and I've had it for probably 17 years, and I just keep it out of the sun, and it's worked quite well. And yeah, it's coming along. Has no branches and no leaves, but it'll get there. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders for KW Bonsai. Today we're giving the first update on my lemon tree bonsai. The only future work this summer will be to pinch off any growth that's coming out from the main trunk, keeping it down to just growing our leaders. So we've got 3 leaders, so we're just going to let that all grow this season, really tall. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Today we're going to be working on our lemon tree bonsai. This tree is gone from a single trunk to a triple trunk now, and we're going to be cutting back the triple trunks and further developing them into a crown on top of the tree. So it's kind of exciting when the tree's grown enough to be able to cut it back again. So let's do that. Let's prune it off now. And we're going to prune above the leaves to allow for a bit of, drying back from our cut point. So we're going to prune it right to here. There we go. Prune it right back to here. There we go. That's a pretty major branch. 4 cuts and we're done. So we'll check back in this tree when it's developed all its new shoots. Hi there, Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Today we're going to be working on our lemon tree. It's been 4 months since the last video on this tree, and we've done some pruning work to the new structure we're building in the canopy, and it's time to pinch the new growth now. So let's go in and have a look at the growth, and we'll see what we're going to be pinching. Hi, you can't do the pinching. And you can keep as many leaves on it as you want. I could cut it here and leave two of the new leaves, or I could cut it further up and I would leave a new set of leaves in the opposite direction. So each new leaf cluster comes at almost a 90-degree angle to the previous pair. So depending on what direction you want your next set of growth to come in would determine where you would prune this branch, either to the first pair of leaves or the second pair. And then we'll just let these leaves fully develop. The tree will stay dormant for quite a while until it gets enough energy to grow its next set of growth. So we'll come back when it's time to prune the tree again. Hello everyone, I'm Nigel Saunders, and today we're going to be working on my lemon tree. It's been just over 2.5 years since this tree was repotted. Today I'll be working on the upper structure of the tree and then repotting it. I want to grow the tree for the summer, but I also want to keep the upright trunks in balance, so one trunk doesn't get too thick compared to the others. The first operation I'm going to do today is to defoliate the tree. There's some new growth just starting to come in quite a few places on the tree, so it's due for another growth spurt. So it's a good time to prune the tree back and then allow that new growth spurt to come in. All the leaves on the tree now are large indoor leaves. As you can see, they're almost the size of my hand. After defoliation, you can see it looks more tree-like without those great big large leaves on it. I have to take vigor out of the thickest trunk, so prune it down hard. My medium trunk I'll prune somewhat, and my smallest trunk I won't prune at all. And that'll help balance the thicknesses of the upright branch structure. I'll have to take it back to here. And there's one maybe to here. Here's a shot of the tree all pruned up now. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup work on some of these stubs that are left over from previous prunings. I had to mix up a fresh batch of soil for the lemon tree repotting. I didn't have any composted pine bark or fir bark, so I'm just going to use half perlite and half turfus. All the materials are sifted through a screen to remove the fine particles. I'm going to have to decide if I want to keep it in the same pot or change pots. Maybe the roots will help me decide. If I think it needs more root space, I'll put it in a larger pot. If it looks okay, we'll just keep it as is. Getting them all untangled and raked out. I've got another root that's beside it here that kind of grows underneath, so we definitely want to encourage it to grow on this side. Just going to untangle all these. There. They're growing quite well. There's a root growing on top here I don't like. Over here, I'm going to remove it. With this nice dry soil, it's just flowing in around the roots really nicely. So I think once the smaller leaves grow in, it'll start to look like maybe a tree for the first time in its life. Today's update is my lemon tree bonsai. It was root pruned, repotted, defoliated on top, and branch pruned in the last video. Quite a severe operation. So I wanted to show you that it's alive and well, and already it needs some more work to be done to it. So here I go. I'm going to do directional pruning. So all my branches will keep fanning out from the center of the tree. So I want to prune just above a leaf that's facing towards the outside. So there's a good pair. Actually, there's a good pair right down low, so I can take it right back here to here. I'm leaving 3 leaves on the branch. I'll do the same here. I'll take it right back. This is a vigorous branch to there. The rest, this one's not so vigorous, so I'll just take the tip off. There's a shot of the lemon tree all pruned up and ready to grow again. My first update is my lemon tree bonsai. Up top, the canopy's doing really well. This is the second flush of growth, and it looks really, really good and strong. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today we'll be doing an update to my lemon tree bonsai. It's been a year since the last video. That trunk is still quite rough and a lot of pruning scars, but they'll smooth out over the years for sure. At the moment everything is very angular, the flow of the branches, but again that will smooth out as the tree grows. Yeah, I think that's all I can do for now to the tree. Yeah, see how it grows in the future and keep looking for solutions to fix problems on it. They always do. They always sprout in the right direction. I'll put this side of the tree facing the window in the plant room so it gets the most sun, and that'll encourage shoots to grow on this side of it. I've got the lemon tree on the table now, and I'll rotate it around so you can see it's growing quite tall. I definitely like this view as the front. That's got to be the front. It's got the nicest root base, the nicest movement in the trunk. The trunk's kind of coming towards you a bit. Definitely the nicest front for the tree. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to remove some of these branches. Like this one is a problem branch. It's running parallel to the trunk line here. So I'll remove that for starters. All right, here I go. I'll come in. It's a little hard to reach, but I think from back here I can get it. Off it goes. Like that. That's a good cut. I think I want it, the branch behind was pruned at this height, and I think I want to go just a little higher. So I'll prune it off right here. Big cut. So here I go. Tough wood too. I just have a thorn digging into my hand here, which I will try and there it goes. Off with its head. This root base was always quite bizarre, and it's been that way since I got the tree as a seedling. This was grown from a seed, this tree. It was started by an elderly lady that my mom used to take care of, and she gave it to my mom, and then my mom gave it to me, and someday I'll probably give it to someone else too. I'll just rotate the tree around before I put it back. There's kind of the front somewhere in this area, probably maybe more here. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'll be working on my lemon tree bonsai. I've let the lemon tree grow all summer to gain vigor, and I'll show you how tall it is now. Part of clip and grow bonsai is letting the tree grow, and that's probably the hardest part. Seeing your compact bonsai get these long shoots, but that gains a lot of vigor in the tree, and it'll recover really quickly from the pruning today. Here I go. I'm going to prune this one off right here. Like that. Next I'll prune the tall one at the back here. Like that. Oh, it smells beautiful. Nice lemony smell. And I'll prune this one at the back. I'm looking for leaves that face outwards. I'll show you a close-up of that. At the base of every leaf is a bud. So if I were to prune this branch off here, a new branch would come out from the base of that leaf, and it would come in this direction. So depending where you prune on the branch can determine direction that the new branch will grow in. So I'm always looking for leaves that are facing outwards from the tree. So in this case, I've got one down low here. I've got one higher up down here. So I think in this case, I'm going to prune it here for now. There's an outward facing leaf like that. There's just one long shoot remaining on the tree now, so I am going to take it off to right here. Like that. And back to the front. My lemon tree was also in the cool basement, and I brought it up much earlier than the others when I did that work on it. I think that was within the last month. And now it's starting to flower. Here's a look at one of the flower buds. You can see it right here. It's a little ball and it's starting to show a bit of white on top. So this is the first time this lemon tree has flowered since I took possession of it a long, long time ago. Here's the second flower bud up here, up near the top of the tree, and it's just starting to show some white also. So it'll be exciting. I'll keep updating this, and hopefully we'll see some nice lemon flowers come out, and oh, they smell beautiful. So I'm hoping I get to smell them soon. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. I came into the plant room last night and the whole room smelled of this sweet perfume, and I noticed my lemon tree is in flower. One of the flowers opened last night and this one just opened today, and oh, does it smell nice. It makes the whole room smell beautiful. The tree is growing really well after the last pruning. I've got 3 shoots on the top that are really taking off. So I think I'm going to pinch those back today to get a little more vigor in the lower parts of the tree so it kind of grows out a little more evenly. I'll continue the updates on the lemon tree and we'll see if these flowers develop into fruit. Next up is my lemon bonsai, the one that flowered, and it's growing a lemon on it. So let's go in and have a look at the lemon today. Here's a look at the lemon now. It's getting larger each day. It started off as a little tiny thing. It's probably grown about 4 times its original size. It's still got a long ways to go before it ripens up to become a lemon, but hopefully it'll make it there. Hopefully it won't get, it won't fall off the tree or anything. The root base on the lemon tree is doing really well. It's looking good. It's getting more radial all the time. Every time I repot it, it gets a little better. I'm going to start the pruning now. So this is the front of the tree. I marked it long ago, right there. So I want to prune a lot of these branches back. There's a tall one here I can prune back. So I'll take it back to here because I have 2 branches coming off here and here. Like that. I've got this one is too long. I need to prune it back, so I'm going to go back to here, like that. So there's the front of the tree. So you can see it's a lot more compact now. So when the new growth comes in, it'll kind of fill in the tree. It won't be so long and tall. Here's a look at the lemon tree from the front view now. I do have to repot it into a slightly larger pot, maybe an oval pot, with this as the front view. I think it's developing nicely. It's got a lot of subtle movement in the trunk, which is, kind of unusual on a lemon tree. Usually they grow so quickly that you get the big straight sections on the trunk, but this one I've been pruning it, clip and grow over many, many years, so it's developing a bit of character to the trunk. Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my lemon bonsai. I'm going to be trimming it up and repotting it. So here I go. I'm going to start the defoliation, getting rid of these giant leaves that smell beautiful. I think that is it. It is defoliated. So now you can see the structure of the tree much more easily, or much more clearly, and now I can make better decisions on what I want to prune. There's where my lemon was growing before. It started developing, and then when I was watering in the dark, I accidentally bumped it with the watering can really hard and I knocked the lemon off. So that was too bad, but I'm sure I'll get more lemons on it someday. The next step for the lemon tree is to get it out of the pot and have a look at the roots. I have a layer off the bottom. Now I'm going to start combing, trying to get all these roots separated, combed out, flattened out, sorted out. I think that's all the outs. A little bit tangled. This was the one I wanted to get out. I don't know where it's going. There it goes. Okay, this is getting much, much better. So I've pretty well got the bottom pruned up now. Flat on the bottom. And why is it important to do this? Well, it then develops all your radial roots. All your
root growth goes in these nice radial roots, and you get that nice flare at the base of your tree. If you let all the roots grow straight down, you don't get as dramatic a flare, and you don't get the nice surface roots developing. So I've got the root system pretty good on the bottom, so I'm going to clean up here, and then I'll do the detailed root pruning of the top here. The idea is to balance the roots, so all the surface roots are kind of about equal strength and vigor. And you can see I've got these really thick ones here that I pruned back before, and now they were kind of hitting the edge of the pot, so they didn't really develop nice radial roots. I should have repotted it into a bigger pot, but however, we'll do it now. So anything that doesn't look nice and radial, I'll prune away. Maybe I've just got to take the one off here. Give a bit of separation. Sometimes you got to keep them separated. I'm ready to plant the lemon tree. I've picked this as the front of the pot. The glaze is a little nicer. On this side, the glaze has a bit of a line there. So that'll be the front of my pot. I've got my drainage screens in here. I just reused the other ones, and I'll get a base layer of soil in the pot. So here I go. Just get my roots sorted out. I'll comb them out once again, making sure they're nice and radial. So you can see how it comfortably fits the pot. The roots spread out almost to the edges, but not, it's got room to grow. Certainly got room to grow to the left and the right, which is the most important to give you that nice flare from the front view. Okay, I think everything's looking good. I can start filling it in with soil. It was really nice to get my lemon tree all pruned up, the roots pruned and repotted, ready for the summer growing season. My lemon tree continues to grow well. All the new shoots that have come out are extending. My objective was to grow the tree larger so the leaves are more in proportion, thickening up the trunk. Because I have the roots fairly well sorted out. They're not perfect, but they're not bad. So now that they're sorted out, I'm growing the tree larger, so I put it in a bigger pot. And this is the first time it's grown since the repotting. So you can see all the new shoots up top. Looking really good, so I'm glad to see that. So I'll just let it grow. That's my objective. I'm not going to do much pruning to it until it's thickened up, gotten a little larger. Then I'll tackle it once again, maybe a year from now. So you can see it's grown really well since I last worked on the tree, which was in February of last year, where I defoliated the tree, I pruned it up, and I repotted it. So a lot of operations all at once. Now the tree was dormant in the basement. I root pruned it, top pruned it, repotted it, and then I put it in the plant room where it warmed up and grew. So it was like a spring for the tree. So it recovered quite quickly from the repotting and pruning operation. It was allowed to grow the entire summer then, and I think all the other branches are okay. They just need to be shortened. I don't think there's any problem with them, so I'll shorten this one back to here. So on that note, that is all for today. The next tree I'll be working on is my old lemon tree that was grown from a seed. It's about to put on another growth spurt. It's been in this state for a long time, so it's due to grow again. So I want to prune it back before it starts the next growth cycle. So here I go. This one here, this one to here. I may have to go shorter with this one. And the back one here, I'll prune it off to here. I'll have to make some decisions in the future, but for now, it's kind of got the tree compact and directional pruning, so when the new growth does come in, this next flusher growth, it'll be more compact. It won't be growing out at the end of really long branches. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm back to present day time, January 1st, 2024. So let's begin the work on the tree. Much of the earlier work on this tree was trying to develop a nice radial root base on it, and it's getting there. I was also developing the trunk to get taper and movement to the trunk. My plans are to grow this tree larger because lemon trees have fairly large leaves. So I put it in a bigger pot, and my plan is just to continue growing the tree and pruning the structure to try and make kind of a medium to large size bonsai. This tree is being developed with clip and grow only, and I've cut the trunk back many times, letting the tree grow, reducing it back to a stump, letting a new leader grow and pruning that back, trying to develop taper and movement and diameter to the trunk. And if you kept doing that forever, you would end up with a trunk that looked like a typical trident maple bonsai, those big, thick, exaggerated taper trunks. And that's not the look I'm going for with this tree. I think the trunk and the root base is developed enough at this point in time that I can concentrate on developing the upper canopy. So that's what I'll be doing today, is refining the upper canopy, but I won't be doing any hard pruning. I'm going to accept the tree for what it is at this point in time. I think with many bonsai, you could just spend your whole life developing the trunk line. I mean, I could prune it off here, develop this branch as my new leader. It would give me more taper to the tree. And I could keep repeating that process year after year after year. And probably, by the end of my lifetime, I would have this really awesome, highly tapered trunk that would look very much like a traditional bonsai. But that's not what I'm after in this tree. I'm after a more natural look. And I think the trunk is at a point where it's looking good, it's looking natural. It has good bark, it has good movement, it has subtle taper. So that's why I'm concentrating on developing the branches now to eventually make it into, hopefully a showable bonsai someday. My general philosophy on bonsai is always do what's best for the tree and don't worry about the timeline. Don't worry about your lifespan. Don't worry about trying to make the tree showable. Just do what's best to create this awesome tree. So I'm always torn between, do I cut it back? Do I let it grow? Do I develop the canopy? So it's just a personal decision. I think the trunk is fine on this tree. I think it's time to start developing the branch structure. And other people may not agree with that. They might say, no, this trunk isn't thick enough. It's too tall and skinny. You need to chop it back and redevelop the branch structure. So it's a personal decision. I'm happy with the trunk, so that's why I'm concentrating on the branches today. I'm starting the work today by looking at the tree. The first thing I notice is I have quite a bit of upright growth on the tree, vertical growth that I need to prune away. I am developing sort of a leader up the middle of the tree here. It will be sort of a rounded canopy eventually, but you still need kind of a leader up the middle. And I have one developing. It's not as high as some of these branches, so these branches will need to get pruned back. So what I'm doing today is I'm setting the tree up, getting it structurally pruned, and then in spring I'll get all that new growth come in, and it may pop out, all over the tree. So I'll have to select what new growth I keep and prune away the stuff that comes in kind of funny places. But my goal today is to get the tree pruned up structurally, getting it ready for spring. I'm looking at the tree now, and I'm looking at this lowest branch. There's a couple of problems with this branch. One is that the branch line kind of runs parallel to the trunk line here, and it looks a bit funny, parallel branches like that. If I rotate the front, you can hide it around the back, but I'm thinking that it's too low down on the tree. I think it would look better as this is my first branch up here. The branch, if you see it in this view, the radial direction is coming out here, and then it splits to the right and the left. And it's kind of a bit of a funny looking branch. I could prune off the front part and develop a branch out the back. I could prune off the back part and develop a branch out the front. The problem is that the base of the branch still runs parallel with the trunk line here. If I prune it off totally, I've got a bit of a bulge here where I've removed some other branches in the past. They've healed over, but I don't think that bulge is too bad. And I don't want to carve that bulge away, because then I would have this huge scar on the side of the tree that would take years and years to heal. And I think, as I grow the top of the tree, this bulge won't look so bad. I think it'll just kind of give the trunk a bit of character. So I'm considering pruning that branch off totally. I've been looking at it for a long time, trying to decide what to do with it. And yeah, there's a lot of possibilities of what to do with it. Definitely if I prune off the back part, it looks more like a curve. It doesn't, it doesn't look quite as parallel with the trunk, but it still is. And it kind of bothers me that. And it's really only in this front view that it looks parallel. If I were to change the front of the tree, it could solve that problem. But I still think it's too low on the tree. I think as this tree gets larger, I need a certain length of trunk before my branching starts. So everything is telling me to prune off that lowest branch. And it's kind of a big step, but I think it would improve the tree. So it's going to be done. I'm going to remove it totally. All right, here I go. This is a big step. And I'm going to come in and try and keep a bit of the... I'll prune it flush, but there's a bit of a collar built up there, which is always nice. It helps heal it quickly. So I think coming in right here. So here I go, a big cut coming up. That branch is gone. Let's step back and have a look at the tree now. Here is a look at the tree now, and I think that's a big improvement. I think it makes it look more tree-like, having that longer, taller trunk. Yeah, I really like that. You can see that bit of a bulge in the trunk, but I don't think it's too bad. I think it's fine. I'm going to work on this branch here next. There's a lot of vertical parts. You can see if it was pruned back, it would look a lot nicer. So let's have a look at that branch next. On this branch, I have a nice horizontal branch here. I don't want to grow this branch, taller. It's more of a horizontal branch, and then I'm growing the leader up the middle here that'll fill in this space. So I think my first step is to remove this upper section and keep this horizontal branch here. I think that'll improve it. It'll keep that branch a little flatter, and I can sort out some of the structure in that branch. I'm going to start by pruning away that upper part to this branch. So pruning it off right here. Here I go. Like that. So now you can see the horizontal part of this branch. There's one growing back in parallel with this other branch that I'm going to prune away. So this one will go like that. So now you can see this branch comes up. It divides into two here, two again. I've got a vertical part here growing up that I'm going to remove. So this will come off like that. That's flattening that branch out quite nicely. And then off the tip of this branch, I have another vertical section that I will just prune back to a leaf that's fanning, I think this direction. I've got one coming off to the right and one towards the back. I will remove this upward facing leaf and the one here, just to let a little more light into the tree. Now I've got, off of this back branch, I've got, instead of fanning out, I've got part of it that comes back straight out the front. I'll try and show you that. So if we come in and look at this branch, you can see here's my divisions. and divisions, and then this part of the branch comes out, and then there's a branch that crosses underneath the other branch. So I'm going to prune that up. I'm going to prune that off right here, and that fixes the structure of this branch. Now out the back I have a vertical shoot here that I'm going to take off like that. And everything else is looking quite good on that branch. It is getting a little long here. I could maybe reduce it back. I have some buds in here, so I could take it off. I'm going to leave it long for now. Here is an overall look at the tree now, so I think you can see it's looking better. It's looking a little more structured and a little more tree-like. So next I've got to decide about that, where that double branch. I have that one coming out the front, and do I want that? Or do I just keep part of it? Interesting. It would mean at that junction here that I've got 3 branches growing from one spot. So I think I need to eliminate that branch. I think it will be a problem in the future. I've got to choose one or the other. I do like the one coming out the front, but I can develop this tree, some branches coming out more of the front. Yeah, and I may even get some new shoots in that area, a new branch that comes in a good direction in the future. So I'm going to eliminate it. It's a problem spot, a structural problem that will just get worse in the future. So it's got to come off. So here I go. Yeah, it is nice having something coming out the front here, but it's just not starting from a good location. So off it comes. Here I go. Just like that. The next branch I'm going to work on is this back branch, this one right here. That's towards the rear of the tree. So I have some upright growth on this that I need to prune away, and I'll keep this branch flatter just like this one off to the right hand side. So I'm going to come in and remove that upright growth. Okay, here I go. So I've got a branch here that I need to remove. So that's gone, and now you can see the one that's upright here that I'm also going to remove. So that's gone. Leaves a bit of a big scar there, but I'll try and make it a little more flush, and hopefully it'll heal over nicely in the future. There. That should heal quite well. Just take part of this off too. Like that. Bit of a big wound there, but I think structurally the tree will be better. I still have some problem areas on this branch. I've got some upright growth here I'm going to remove. Like that. I've got a branch here that's getting too long and needs pruning back. And I'm just trying to decide where to prune it back to. I don't want it growing out interfering with this branch. So I think I need to hard prune it back to here. Here I go, taking that whole tip off like that, shortening it, and I've got a leaf on the underside that should get a new branch growing a little more horizontal. This one out the back here, it's looking quite good. I could prune it off a little shorter, and I will, to there. And then I've got an upright section on this branch, and I don't think I need that. If I kept it, I would prune it quite short, which might look okay. If I pruned it off here, I think I'll try that. So here I go. And when I look at the tree in the end, I'll see if this bothers me or if it's looking good. So that's got the back branch and the right hand branch pruned up. So next, this is my future apex here. So I'm going to look at that area now. So on this central trunk line here, I've got a branch coming out the front, which I really like. I do have it divide into two here, and I'm wondering which one I should keep. I've got one growing upwards and one that swoops downwards. Either of them is quite good, but I do need to prune one away. Let's look from the front. I'm looking at those branches from the front. The upper one kind of continues this line, so it makes the branch look quite straight. The lower one is thicker and it swoops down. It gives it a bit of movement. I definitely want something growing out the front here. I think in this case I'm going to prune off the upper one. So here I go, like that. And then I need to look at this other branch. It's getting a little tall, but I've already pruned it. I think that's good. I'll just take this leaf pointing straight up off. So I think that's got that sorted out. It comes out, divides from 1 to 2. Now I do have, I just noticed a scale blister on the tree there. I do have another branch going out the back here. And do I want to keep it? It's kind of growing over top of the lower branch here. And I think I would, these two branches are maybe too close to each other. If I eliminated it, it would look fine. If I keep it, it also looks fairly good. Well, I'll shorten it for now. I've got a leaf that points downwards here, so I'll prune just in front of that. I'll remove that leaf facing directly upwards. This one also. So there's my leader. Doing quite well. Yeah, I can always prune this branch off at a later date if it's starting to get too cluttered in this area. But I think for now it's fine. So my last branch I need to prune up is this lowest one here. So let's have a look at that. I'm looking at the structure of that branch. So it comes up and it's not a bad looking branch. I've got a stub I can take off here. It's an old branch I pruned. Get in there. There we go. That's gone. I've also got a vertical stub growing up here. I'm going to remove that. Like that. This branch is already being pruned. It's not too bad. This one's kind of pointing back towards the middle of the tree and it's running parallel with this branch. So I'm going to take this one off. Like that. There's a leaf I'm going to remove here so I can see a little better. There's a vertical leaf here I'll take off. And then off this back part of the branch I have 3 branches coming from one spot here. So I need to pick my best ones. I'm just going to remove these vertical leaves so I can see a little better. Which one do I keep? I think I'd take out the middle one in this case. So that comes out. So the branch divides nicely here. And then I've got this kind of drooping branch out the back. Everything's looking good on it. I could shorten it a bit here. I've got a vertical part going up here I can take off. And then this one's good. I've already pruned it. It kind of goes back on the tree. I think I better take it right off. I think it'll be a future problem and it doesn't really flow very well. So that's got this branch pruned up. I think it's looking quite nice. There's an old yellow leaf I can take off here. A vertical one I can take off. Clean up a stub here. Okay, I've got the tree pruned up. Let's step back and have a look at it. Here is a look at what I pruned off today. So, yeah, some fairly big branches. That lowest branch was a big one. Some branch tips. Just cleaning up that structure. I'm stepping back, having a look at the tree now. So I think it looks definitely more tree-like. I think all the cuts today improved the tree. I think it'll, make it a better looking tree in the future. Now, I was wondering about that one branch here. I said maybe it's too long, and I think it is. I think that needs to be brought in. It's just, yeah, a little long. Looks a bit of a flat top at the moment, but as, this main leader grows in and I get some more branching here, it'll get more of a rounded canopy shape to it. All right, here I go on that branch. So here's where I had some new leaves, so I can prune it back quite hard to there. And I will. So coming in right here and pruning it off. Like that. Here's a look at the tree with that branch shortened, and I think that looks better. I've still got a few more things I need to do on the tree. One, I've got to seal up all those cuts with rubber cement. Two, I've got to spray the tree. I did find that one scale blister on it, and I noticed some of the leaves were a little sticky, so I better spray it with soap and water before I put it back in the basement. And the third thing, I need to clean up the moss at the base of the tree. I've got my rubber cement here, and I will just seal up my wounds, which there is a fair amount after today's pruning. Alright, I think that's got all the major cut points sealed up. Next, I'll spray it with soap and water. Alright, here I go with the soap and water. Give the tree a good spray down. Alright, I'll let that sit with the soap and water on it for a few minutes, and then I'll rinse it off with rainwater. Not only is it a new year today, but there was quite a change in the weather last night. I'll show you what it looks like outside. All right, let's venture outside now. So here it is. It is a winter wonderland out here. It really looks beautiful. Snow can be quite something. Yeah. I started pruning my cedar hedge here. So you can see the various stages. The tree on the end here has been pruned up. It's quite a bit shorter and more compact than the others. I was working on the middle one and I didn't get finished, and the other one is quite tall. So I have to keep these cedar trees pruned, otherwise it casts a shadow on my benches down here. So I'll try and kind of prune them up to look like mature trees. I'll use some bonsai techniques on them. But yeah, that's the outside today. It's a winter wonderland for sure. It's time to rinse the tree down now, getting rid of the soapy water. My last task for today is to remove this moss from around the base of the tree. I don't want it climbing up the trunk and spoiling the bark. I noticed it's starting to get dark already outside. Days are still quite short. Here is a look at the root base on the tree, cleaned up. I'll rotate the tree around so you can see it from all angles. So here is the front, coming around to the right hand side, coming around to the back, coming around to the left hand side, and back to the front. The front could change on this tree in the future. My lemon tree is all pruned up, cleaned up, and ready for spring. So back into the basement it goes, where it'll chill for the rest of the winter. And that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.